everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. I am Dr. Truett Wagner, and I am here with the one and only Aaron Golub. And now, mind you, hey, Aaron, how are you? So good to see you again.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Oh man, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. I tell you, you're a fascinating young man. I did so much research on you, and I just want to jump right in. But I do want to say, we misuse that phrase a lot, the one and only. Okay, but when we are referring to Aaron, he really is the one and only. Aaron is the only D1 legally blind football player ever. But I want to start our interview off with the goggles. There were people who would say that you would actually travel with goggles where one side was completely dark and the other side just a little bit of opening. Now, tell us that story and why you would do that far.
Yeah, so I would never actually carry them around with me, but it was something that, I kept in my apartment or whatever and would bring, to the locker room to show people very, occasionally, but I wouldn't carry it around. But when I was younger, my eye doctor made them to show friends or teachers or coaches just kind of how I could see. And it was helpful to, bring them to the locker room sometimes to show my coaches or show teammates. They wanted to see them maybe try and catch a football, see if they could, walk around the locker room, whatever it may be. And it was really interesting.
What was football? Why did you settle on football?
Yeah, I really wanted to play a team sport that I could end up, finding a place in, something where I could help out one another, grow, become a leader, and football just was that sport. I really loved the game, loved watching it, and so got the opportunity to play and took full advantage.
Now, what position did you play in college? I'm a tennis player, so I'm not first thing about football. Okay, so you were snap.
I was a long snapper.
Long snapper. Okay. Now, what does that do? I've seen footage of you and doing it. But what exactly is the purpose of a long snapper in the game?
Yeah. So on punts and field goals, I was a person who on punts would throw the ball back to the punter, and then I would have to either block the lineman in front of me or run downfield. And on field goals, I would snap the ball to the holder for the kicker to kick the ball, and then I would have to block the lineman in front of me.
Right. Okay. All right. Then how did you, I'm just going to be blunt, okay? How did you do that with being visually impaired?
Yeah, it's the same thing as a golf swing. If you do it 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times and you understand the motion. When I snap a football, once it releases my fingertips, I know exactly where it's going to go. I can tell you when it releases my fingertips if I'm going to hit the punter on his right hip or on his face. I know exactly where it will go because I've done it so many times.
What was that like, being part of a team for you?
Being able to work together to find a common goal and work towards that common goal was incredible. It built the person I am. It developed me into a leader. I was so fortunate that in my senior year at college, I was named one of our team captains.
Right.
And just being able to be a part of that team and then eventually lead that team was an amazing thing that I was able to do. And I was so fortunate that I had that experience.
Did you never want to be a PE teacher? Did you never want to be a coach in the university, NFL? Because you were a free agent, right, in the NFL for
Yeah, no, I did my pro day and I talked to a couple teams and it just didn't end up working out. But I made a pivot and went into business. I was just interested in those fields. In addition to football, I liked learning about different things, and those were kind of what I wanted to study.
Right, and you are working. Now you have a is motivational speaker.
Yeah, I'm also a motivational speaker now, and talk to companies, teams at events, organizations all over, which is a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. There was a coach in your life that was, or maybe a few coaches, that was very motivational. How much did that motivation mean to you?
For example, I had one person who's a close friend of mine now. He's the father of one of my teammates when I was in high school, and his name's Steve Burden, and he taught me the value of work ethic. And so every single morning, there were 4 people really in the gym. It was me, my dad, him, and his son, and we were the ones practicing. His son's a quarterback. He's still in college right now, And so I was practicing snapping, and his son was throwing and practicing his throwing with his dad. And we were there at like 5 a.m. every single day. And Steve really taught me the value of work ethic and how you have to commit to what you want to do if you want to achieve your goals.
Right. Okay. So I kind of, in some of the quotes that I read that you stated, there was almost like you wanted a sense of normalcy.
So I think just to kind of touch on that, those quotes were definitely taken when I was in college. And so back then, I didn't care about the press at all. I did it because if it helped someone else, that'd be great. But I wanted to have fun in college. I wanted to play football. I didn't really care about doing interviews. Now my mindset is I'm a speaker. It's something where I can influence and impact other people. And so I speak at events, for teams. I do interviews all the time. And I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun now. But it's a very different, time in my life. Back then, I only wanted to play football. I didn't care about doing interviews. And now it's a little different.
What advice do you have for young athletes who, in fact, are disabled?
Just honestly, just do it. There's nothing that should be holding you back. Just put yourself out there and do it. Don't care about what other people think. Realize if you want to do it, then you just have to go and do it. No one's going to do it for you. And really just put yourself out there.
Right. Okay. And then now, those people who, in fact, do stand a chance of possibly going into the pros or getting some recognition?
I mean, I'd say there's two things. First thing is perseverance. And if you think you're working hard, work 1,000 times harder, because I can promise you you're not, and someone else is outworking you. My mindset in high school was I'm not going to be the hardest working person on my team. I'm not going to be the hardest working person in the league. I'm going to be the hardest working person in the country. And I guarantee you no one else was snapping footballs at 5 a.m. every single day for years. And so however hard you're working, you're really not working hard enough, and push yourself further. The second thing is, one thing I like to talk about is always respect the opinions of others, but never value them. And so by that, I mean is I respect everyone's opinion. Everyone's opinion has worth, and it means something. But I do not value anyone's opinion but myself. I do not care what anyone else thinks. If I do a speech and someone doesn't like it, I don't care. If I'm doing something in football and someone else doesn't like it, it doesn't affect me. And once you're able to get to the mentality, you can do anything that you want and not care what others think.
I think we touched on this earlier, but just to ask this question in simple terms, what inspired you the most?
I think it was just something internal. I mean, you can only be inspired by external things so much if you want to achieve your goals. If you really have something that you want to accomplish, you need to have that internal drive and be able to motivate yourself. And I think I was very good at that. I'm still very good at that with my goals, that I am determined. And there's honestly nothing that I can't accomplish in this life, because if someone gives me a task, if I have a goal that I want to achieve, I'll put in the time that others won't put in. I mean, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day and work out and do whatever it takes, and I go to bed at 11 p.m. pretty much every night. I mean, I'm doing 18 hours time blocked out every single day. And when I say time blocked out, I mean 5 a.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. is time blocked out minute by minute every day.
Wow. Okay. And it seems like you like what you're doing right now.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love everything I do. And my one of the things I like to talk about is the fact of passion. And I think if you're passionate about a goal or about something, you can achieve anything you want. There's nothing you can't accomplish if you're truly passionate, because you truly enjoy doing it, and you're going to be willing to put in the hours and trust the process. Now, if you don't enjoy doing something, if you don't like something and you're not passionate about it, you're probably not going to succeed, because you're not going to put in the time needed for the process. You're going to quit after a month or 6 months or a year when you don't see the results. But when you're passionate about the end result, you're going to allow the process to continue even when you're not seeing the result.
Excellent point, Aaron. Very good point. I always say that, and I think we spoke about this in our first meeting. My day job outside of the talk show actually is a career counselor, specifically for our disabled college students. And I pretty much I just so appreciate what you said, because I always say that if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to be good at it. It's just that simple. It's just that. Aaron, what do you want people to know about you? One thing, if you had one thing that you could just leave this interview with, what would it be?
I think that, I'm a very dedicated person, and I could persevere through a lot of challenges. And I think for me and for everyone else, there's really nothing you can't accomplish if you set your mind to it and you push through everything that's in front of you. And that's not just with football. That's with everything I'm doing now with my career. I mean, I'm trying to become one of the top speakers in the world, and that's not going to happen overnight. But in 5-10 years from now, I'm going to look back and say everything I did now equals what happens then. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but if I continue to put in the reps, if I continue to put in the hours and the time towards it, I'll look back on this in 10 years and say, wow, I'm getting paid to fly around the world and speak. I am one of the top speakers in the world.
Well, I think it might even be sooner than 5 or 10 years from now. I think you're going to be one of the top speakers in the world in a very short time period, because you are a very great speaker and you have the background and you have a proven track record to show just that when you put your mind to something, you can do it. You are a very special guy, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you.